let's say that I have this vector A and this I label it as vector B. So let's say that I'm starting from, I got to choose as origin either this point or this point, okay? So let's say that I choose this one, okay? So if I choose this one and I'm walking, this here, okay, this vector here is telling me to walk 4 steps east. So if I want to mark, okay, so this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, right? The A vector is telling me to walk 4 steps east, okay, and no steps north or south. Then the second vector instead, right after A, is telling me, well, once you finish walking the 4 steps east, go 3 steps north. And this is the second instruction that I have. 3 steps north, no walking horizontally. Okay. Now, if I draw the line here, so if I add those components up, I will find the resultant vector having components 4, 3. So the vector 4, 3 is the one that has 4 east and 3 north. So this is going to be your vector R. Okay, so for this one, the second one, I'm starting from here. I could start from here anyway. So if I start, let's say that I'm doing again number 1, okay? But instead of choosing this point as the origin, I'm choosing B as the origin. So in this case, what happens is that I still have my table X and Y, and I have vector B first, right? And vector B says 3 north, and vector A after. And vector A says 4 east. So 4 east. So the resultant is still going to be 4 and 3. It's just the difference is that this vector will not be here because I'm walking B first. I'm doing no steps horizontally, but I'm doing 3 vertically. And then once I reach this point, then I'm taking the A directions, which is 4 east and no west. So this is going to be the vector A. So this means in this case, right, that I'm going to have the vector resultant that is going to be the one that starts at 0 and ends where I end. And this vector still has component 4, 3. So it's still this vector here. So it's parallel to this one, has the same magnitude. So those two vectors are exactly the same vector. So doesn't matter which road I take, okay? So second problem instead. So this one, for example, is A. This one, let's say, is B. So let's do again the screenshot here. So we have X and Y. So let's walk A first, so then we don't bump into the other stuff. So A is going to have component 3, 1, 3, 1. B has component 1, 3. This is B. So the resultant is going to be the vector that has component 4, 4. So 4, 4 has to end there, which we anyway already know because we know that it's the one that starts from the origin and ends at the end of the track. Okay, so this is going to be your vector R. Now, let's say that I also want to know what is the magnitude and what is the direction of this vector here in such a way that if I have a new reference system, I can draw the vector there. So I know already that has component 4, 4. So 4 and 4. So this is the vector, right? So how much is the total magnitude? Well, it's going to be, according to the Pythagorean theorem, right? This is a right triangle, right? This is the 90 degrees, this is the hypotenuse. So your hypotenuse is going to be 4 squared plus 4 squared square rooted, right? So it's going to be square root of 32, okay? Which means basically, what is it? 5 point something, right? 5.6, 5.7, okay? So about 5.7. So if this is 4, this one is longer than 4, as you see, so 5.7 makes sense, okay? Now, what is the angle? What is this one? So this has a length of 5.7. And what is the angle? Well, the angle here, so let's call it theta. Theta is going to be the imb tangent of your rise over run. This is the rise, so this is the rise because this is 4, this is 4. Rise over run, right? This is going to be the imb tangent of 1, and we know that this happens at 45 degrees, right? So this is 45 degrees, this. So next problem, let's clear this one up. So next problem says, let's say that this is A, this is B, okay? So let's draw those components, X and Y. So A has component 1 and 4, 1 and 4. B has component 2 positive, right, east, but 3 down. So -3 because it's going south. Okay, so when we draw those additions there, I find a 3 and a 1. Okay, so the magnitude of R is going to be 3 squared plus 1 squared square rooted. So it's going to be square root of 5. Okay, is the one that starts from the origin and goes all the way to the end and has to have component 3, 2, 3, 1. So 3, 1. So those are those components. So component 3, component 1. What is this angle if I need to know? Well, again, this angle here is the imb tangent of your rise over run. Okay? And this angle is whatever. So 18 degrees. Okay? Then how about number 4? So number 4, let's say that we call this one A, this one B, and let's start. So this one has to be the origin, right? So let's start from B. So B, I keep it, okay? So X and Y. So vector B is first, vector A is after. And again, doesn't matter, could be switched. So B says 3 north and no horizontal displacement. A says 2, 5, 4, 5 west, so it's negative, and 2 south. Okay, because remember your reference system is right here, right? So this is north, this is east. Okay, so this one is going west and south. So for the resultant is the vector that has components -5, 1. So -5 and +1. Does this make sense? That this is the resultant? Well, let's see. We said we were walking B first, right? So and we ended right there. Then we are walking A. So A says -5 and -2. So this is the point that I hit. So this is the vector A moved up, but not rotated, right? So this is B, this is A. So the resultant makes sense, that is this one, okay? So the magnitude of R is going to be square root of 5 and square root of 1. So square root of 26 is the magnitude. The angle is going to be the imb tangent of rise over run. I don't need the negative because I see perfectly well where the angle is, right? Also, if this is the magnitude, okay, I'm doing rise, which is the 1 over run. So this is the angle that I'm looking for, okay? So this means that this number is going to be 11, unless I made a mistake. I'm clicking 11 degrees. Uh, 11 degrees, and I also have to say, though I forgot before, so where is this degree, this angle taken from? Well, it's going from west toward north, right? So it's north of west. Okay, so let's do now this one. So let's remove that. Okay, so this one instead says, so we are choosing, I don't know, A and B. So X and Y. So A is going to be the one that has -3 and 0. B is going to be the one that has 0 and +4. So vector R is the one that has component -3 and 4. Okay, so -3 and +4 is going to be this vector here. Starts from the origin and goes to this point here. Okay, so this is the vector R. Is that true? Well, yes, because this vector here, I'm doing it, I'm walking B after A. So I'm walking A and then B, and B says go straight up 4. So this vector is B. So I'm not considering this, I'm just translating B here. So I have A, B, and your vector resultant is the one that starts from the origin and ends at the end. So what is the magnitude of R at this point? Well, it's going to be the square root of 3 squared and 4 squared, so it's 16 and 9 is 25, which is 5, okay? And the angle is inv tangent of rise over run, okay? Now, what is the rise over run? Well, the rise is 4, the run is 3, so this is the angle that I'm looking at, okay? So it's going to be, at the end, it's going to be north of west. But what is the angle itself? Well, it's 4 divided by 3. And the inv tangent of this, so I got a 53 degrees. Okay? Then, number 6. Okay, so let's clear everything. Number 6. So let's say this is A and this is B. So X and Y again. So let's start with A and then B, for example. So A is this one. This one says 1 west, 3 south. 1 west, 3 south. This one says 2 east and 3 south. So the resultant vector is the one that has 1 and -6. So I'm starting with A. B, I'm walking after, and B says 2 east and 3 down. So this is going to be B. So the vector resultant is the one that starts from the origin and ends at the end. So this is the vector R. We should have components 1 minus 6. Let's see, 1 minus 6. Perfect, so this is the right vector. So magnitude of R is going to be square root of 1 plus 6 squared. So this is square root of 37. And then the angle is going to be the inv tangent of rise over run. Rise over run. So vector that has 1 and -6. So this is the vector and has 6 over rise and 1. Okay, so it's rise over run. Okay, then next one, number 7. So this is vector A, this is vector B, X and Y. So A has coordinate 2, -2. B has coordinate -2, -2. So R is going to be 0 minus 4. So if I'm walking A first, B, I remove it from here. I got to bring it starting from where A ends. So like we said, this says minus 2, so it has to go here. So this is B translated. This means that the resultant is starting from the origin, ending at the end. So this is R. And R has component, no horizontal, but -4. So this is right. Also, the magnitude of R is going to be square root of 0 squared and 4 squared, right? So this is just 4, obviously, and the direction is south. This one instead, okay, so it's A and B, okay? So A says 3 down, 3 down. B says instead 1 up, so your resultant should be 0 minus 2, which means basically I'm taking B and I have to start from here, which is going 1 up. So the resultant at the end is going to be from 0 to the end of my traveling, which is this one. So, and has a magnitude, obviously, of 2 because it's 2 squared, square rooted. So it's 2, and the angle is going to be straight south. For 9 is already in place, so this is going this way, and then this, and then this, and then this. So because everything is what is tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, the resultant is the one that goes from the origin to the last step taken, right? So this is going to be the resultant. What are the components right here? Well, it's -2 plus 4. So what is the magnitude? So if this is -2 and this is plus 4, the magnitude of R is going to be square root of 2 squared and 4 squared. So it's 16, 20, square root of 20. And theta is going to be the inv tangent of rise over run. So 4 over 2, which is equal to 2. So rise over run, so we are looking at this angle here. Okay, and this angle, so is 2 inv tangent is going to be 63 degrees. Okay, so theta is going to be 63 degrees, and the direction is, so if it is this one, it's going to be north of west. Okay, then for this one, so you have 4 vectors here. You have A, B, C, and D. So we can do it graphically first. So let's say we're starting from A, so 3 east. Then let's say B. So this one is not there anymore, but B says 3 up. C says 4 across. So 4 across right here. D says 2 down, 2 down. So the vector resultant is the one that starts from the origin, ends at the end. So the vector R should have components 1, 1. So let's see if it is true. So X and Y. For A, we said is -3 at 0. For B, we said is 0 and plus 3. For C, where is C? Here. This is 4 east. And for D, this is -2 south, right? So this means 1, 1. So this is the vector. So what is the magnitude of the resultant? Well, it's going to be 1 squared plus 1 squared is square root of 2. What is the angle? Well, this is 45 degrees. That's easy, right? Then second from last. So this is A, this is B, and this is C. So here, let's say we're starting with A. So A is 2 west and 2 north. Then we have B. B says 2 east and 2 north. So this is B. Then C says 2 south, so this is C. So this means that the resultant should be starting from the origin, ending to the end. So this is the result. Now let's see if that's true. So A, we said is -2 and +2. B, we said is 2 and 2. And C, we said is 0 and -2. So this is 0 and this is 2. So 0, 2, that's our vector. So what is the magnitude of R? Well, it's 2. What is the angle, the direction? Well, it's going to be north. Okay. And then the last one instead, the last one says, so let's say this is A, B, and C. So let's say that we start from B. So X and Y. So if we do it graphically first, B starts from the origin and ends here. Then let's go for, I don't know, A. A says 3 west. So this is A, 3 west. And then C says 2 south and 1 east. 2 south and 1 east. So it seems like it's going to end right there. So what is the distance between the origin and the end of the trip? Well, it's just 0. Is that true? Does this make sense? So A, we said is -3 and 0. B, we said is 2 and 2. C, we said is 0. No, is 1, right? 1 east and 2 south. When we add them up, this is 0 and this is 0. And that's done with this homework here.